Let's talk about something embarrassing today. I don't want to call them failures, so let's call them the honeymoon hobbies. These are hobbies I'd give my 100% for like 4 days, and then like Leo, but I'd always end up finding my next hobby sooner than I could bury the last one. So now I'm kinda like a multi-tool. Dude, why are all your hobbies hand-related? One of these hobbies hit hard in college. Back then I wasn't scrolling through edits, but through these wildly creative photos when I thought, yeah, I can do that. And I did. Enough to get me my first few followers while still in college, which is something I've been asked the most about and I wanted to answer it first in this Q&A video. This is my engineering degree and it had exactly to do with videos. Honestly, till my 6th semester, even I was pretty focused on getting good grades, but recreating photos taught me how to use my first camera, and the learnings came purely off of YouTube and silly experimenting sometimes. What engineering did give me was an amazing excuse. I convinced my parents that engineering software need a gaming laptop. This was important to mention because the next question I get asked the most is about my editing setup specifications, and I think most of y'all just want to know कि minimum क्या specs required होते हैं to edit videos like me. This is the After Effects timeline for my favorite video till date, and I edited that reel completely on the entry-level gaming laptop. So according to my experience, a fairly new version of i5 or Ryzen 5 processor with 8GB RAM and a 4GB GPU is somewhat of a capable editing setup, but in no way was that experience easy or convenient. Crashes, lags, and sometimes just not playing back at all. But the thing with editing setups is that आप जितना पैसा डालोगे उतना experience आपके लिए convenient हो जाएगा. My current PC, which I bought back in November 2023, houses a Ryzen 5 7600X with 32GB of RAM and an 8GB 4060 Ti for the GPU. This is quite literally all you need to make these kind of videos. I have also since upgraded my laptop, and this current one has a Ryzen 7 chip inside it with a 3070 Ti. वैसे I enjoy gaming a lot, and इसलिए some of these decisions were mostly just so I could play more games. But please don't tell my parents. Once I figured out my laptop can also edit videos, I could dive deeper into content from photos to videos. I cannot possibly list down every person that has ever inspired me, but some of the channels I regularly logged in to learn from were Peter McKinnon, Hayden Pedersen, Jordi Qualitics, Sam Colder, Ben TK, Cox of course, and a lot of tutorial channels like Corridor Crew, Dope Motions, Camilo, Max Novak, and the list can go on. For now, I think I've answered enough of your questions and should not waste any more of your time. Let's categorize videos into two halves: how a video is shot and how the video is viewed. So if you're planning to make a speed ramp in your edit later, it is first important to shoot the video correctly. This video you're watching right now is shot in 4K at 60fps, and you'll always hear people define their video settings in these two values: the resolution and the FPS. Even आपके iPhone पे you only get to change these two values in the video mode. Like I explained in my previous video, shooting in 4K for Instagram content is important to help fix framing mistakes in post. But what does 60fps mean? 60 frames per second means right now this camera is generating 60 of these 4K frames every second. All this information is useless unless you understand how viewing the video works. Today, most of the videos, reels, and even movies you're watching in theaters are running at 30fps. So a playback speed of 30fps is enough for a normal human to enjoy a video and not call it laggy. Now this is the same footage playing back at 12fps. Surely you notice the choppiness. 12fps is what most stop motions and 2D animations made on. Now playing on screen is the same video but at 12, 30 and 60fps. The jump from 12 to 30fps is definitely noticeable and appreciated for making the video look more smooth. The jump from 30 to 60 is less drastic, and you probably can't even tell the difference between 60 and 120. So from this discussion, you're supposed to understand that humans can easily enjoy a video at 30fps without complaining. Everything from Instagram Reels to Shorts to even Netflix is playing back at 30fps, and we're happy about it. Now to bring the two, shooting and viewing together, a video shot at 60fps can be stretched to double its length and still be viewed at 30fps. Similarly, a footage shot at 120fps can be stretched to 4 times its original length and still be viewed at 30fps. So higher the FPS value, slower you can make the video in post. Time remapping or speed ramping is mostly used and popularized by car edits. So that's what we'll try to learn from. Car edits are honestly a great place to start learning video editing, and there are some amazing channels here on YouTube that will help you get started. Once you have the required footage, let's open After Effects and import the video. I've shot this video in 4K at 50fps. हम सीख रहे हैं for Instagram Reels, so let's make a 1080p vertical composition at 30fps. Drag in the clip, right click and enable time remapping. Video simpler बनाने के लिए I'm using a clip जो already एक pre-compose के अंदर stabilized है, but if your clip isn't stable, मेरा suggestion रहेगा कि time remap शुरू करने के पहले उसे stable कर लो. Let's say I'm making an edit and I want this clip to go from this frame frame to this frame between 2 beats. So I go ahead and make keyframes on both frames, and it's obviously much longer than what we require. But now you can bring the 2 keyframes closer, and After Effects will force the video to play back completely between those 2 keyframes. You can now head into the graph editor to smooth out the motion, and the clip is ready to be added to my next bike edit. Time remapping is an essential tool, and you'll be using it constantly to fit your videos into the desired time. Most of video editing is just combining techniques, and I've already given out a few of them. So if you haven't watched them already, please go check them out, and I'll see you in the next one.